I find that if I do not take time every day to write down or just to simply dedicate the day in my own mind, it is so easy to let it all slip away. Before I know it, I look up, I can't believe what time it is, and it just feels like I wasn't able to accomplish much of anything. This is one of the reasons why I really like having a focus day when it comes to the Lady of the House method. It makes it so much easier to take care of some of these detailed cleaning tasks and just to have a purpose for something to do with the house that day. So, as I've shared in previous videos, not every single day do I feel up to doing so many different things. And that's okay, that's not the point. But it's also good to do something. Do something with your day, even if you have so many other things on your list of to-dos. Just one little thing will make all the difference. It makes your home feel so much better. This could be things that nobody else would ever know if you did or you didn't do. And yet we know things that we do or that we don't do, or things that could use our attention. And so when we put that little bit of effort in, it goes a long way. It really does. I find this for myself. I have been walking up and down these stairs every single day for a little while now. And well, I mean, since I've moved here, but I mean, as a form of exercise. And I am well acquainted with these stairs, let me tell you. So I see all the dust, all of the handprints, all of the marks, everything on here. And I thought, you know what? Today I am going to tackle this space. It will be something that I don't need to do very often, but especially if I take care of it today. And then of course those vents, those were bothering me for a time. It's the intake vents, and so those need to be dusted. And you know, everything was in such pristine condition when we purchased this home. And so I really want to take care of my space. I want it to feel just as beautiful as when we purchased it, which means that I am going to have to take some extra time to take care of this space and all of the little nooks and crannies. And I do it with such joy because I love to have a clean space. I love the way that this makes my home feel, and I love doing it just because I know that I've done it. Today, I have the Lady of the House 2025 Life Book that I am going to be flipping through and sharing with you the whole entire concept. And this will be great for anybody who is new to my life book, as well as if you just have some questions about how to use it. So I have two different styles. I have the academic planner as well as the normal year. And for the 2025 planner, especially if you were in the first wave of those who purchased them, you will notice that there are definitely some differences that you will come across when I'm flipping through this version here. And that's because over time I have been tweaking things here and there for this life book. Now that's just something that I do as I get it in my hands and I'm able to see the updates in person. So just know that there may be slight variations here and there from book to book. So the new one that is out right now and that I've recently updated has a few edits to it that may be different than even the 2025 Life Book if you have one. So let's start with the first page you come to, which was, of course, the title page. Then instead of it saying, I think what it normally said was 2025 calendar, like that, right here, or 2026, 2025 and 2026. Now it just has the year on it. And of course, that's by design. And just to kind of simplify things, that's all you really need to see, right? And so I have one for 2025 and 2026, just a year at a glance. You get your important dates page, as well as your yearly goals. And then you will go into the monthly goals, which this is a great place just to write down those things that are really important for you. Of course, your goals that you have for each month. And I wouldn't say that this is something that you just sit down and write out all of those goals in one setting. I would say from month to month, and then to revisit that page frequently and to see how, you are doing with your goals that you have for the month. And then of course, before the new month begins, it would be a great time to just consider what those monthly goals are that you have for the next month. What's really nice is to come back to it at the end of the year and just see how you did, see where you can use some improvement, and then think about that moving into the new year to come. Then I have a page for what the everyday is. So it would look like this. And you would have, that's what the everyday is, are all of these things right here. To dress up, make the bed, launder a load, clean the kitchen, tidy the home, and design the menu. So those are just the everyday things that I encourage you, especially as part of the Lady of the House method, to just complete. You would feel really good even if you did nothing else, and would definitely help you to feel prepared for your day. Now, there haven't always been great days that I have had in this regard, but it's something that I strive for so that I can feel on top of things. And then of course we start adding in the housekeeping portion, which we will get into that too. So another change that has been made has been the script instead of the just regular quote right here written like that. I decided to make it a little prettier, put it in cursive. I just really liked that Julie Andrews quote. Leave every place you go, everything you touch, a little better for your having been there. I think that this basically is the Lady of the House method in a nutshell, because it's something that we are continuously doing. And as the Lady of the House, this is your main focus. Of course, you want to teach this concept to the rest of your household, but it's really something that having that at the forefront of our minds as the Lady of the House makes for all of those little things that you just don't even write down. You just do. You do because it becomes second nature to you. Then we have the housekeeping portion, which this looks really light, but within the book, that's about as dark as it is. So some things that are printed on here, it would look completely different in the book. And actually, when I opened this book, I could not believe what this said. It said house goals. And that is not what I had intended to put in that section. I think what I was trying to do was write house and keeping in all capitals, or just to see how it looked. But maybe I got interrupted in that moment, and it turned out to be house goals, and the spacing isn't even right. And I just looked at that and, well, what are you going to do, right? So therefore I ended up changing it, and it made me think, you know what, I would love some cursive there. So that's why I ended up changing the everyday and housekeeping to cursive, because it used to just be in all capital letters. So I think that that looks much prettier anyway. So the newest version, that is what you would see there. Then flipping the page again, you will see that it says Sunday. Something else that has changed from this would be the just normal print at the bottom underneath each day of the week. I have since changed it to cursive. And I also added a couple of different icons. So the purse, the way that this little change purse looks, has been changed to an actual purse, because that's what I actually mean. And then I also changed the planner from this one to an open one. Just little things here and there. Oh, and the other thing that is different would be even having the squares. So this was kind of confusing to some. Maybe that it was supposed to be a checkbox, or if you would write down how frequently you wanted to do those things. So I've since just made it part of the center, like centered all of it, and to make it where I feel you could just differentiate between each task, I have alternated all capitals to cursive, and I understand that this isn't going to be everyone's cup of tea. Nothing is everyone's cup of tea. So I just wanted to do something that I thought was more pleasing to the eye. So this is what I did. And that's the way the new one looks. And then, of course, we go into Monday. You will notice, once again, we have a different style bed. I just wanted something very simple, and so that's what I went with. Oh, and I should mention that you will also no longer see the laundry hamper. At the bottom, I just have it a little bit darker for what is to be laundered, and so that's why I put laundered bedding. So, or launder bedding, and you will notice that throughout all of these pages is what to launder is at the bottom of the page. Now, if I end up changing that, it might just be something a little extra that I add around it just to distinguish it even more, but we will just have to see. I don't know. And then we, of course, go into Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So what I wanted to share with you was that all of these things don't have to be done on that day. I don't want anybody feeling as if, well, all of these things on this list, this is what I need to accomplish on that day. It's true that I have things split up in days, but really what it's about is just questioning whether any of these things need to be done, and having a specific day to focus on those things, and what the daily focus is, meaning the space. That's more or less what I'm really trying to say there. So for instance, on a Friday, for the living spaces, if what the main thing that needs to be done is that it needs a declutter, then do that declutter. Maybe your plants are dying, or they look a little sad. I shouldn't say dying. They're looking a little sad. That's a good day to get the watering done. Actually, anytime they're looking sad, don't wait for the day to come around. But just to have a day where you know that that's on the agenda to do. And then also just look around at any of these other things. Is this the time that you would need to vacuum your furniture? Do you need to do your floors that day, or the baseboards? Whatever it is, that's a good day to focus on it. And you know that every single week you come back to this space. And so you can focus on a little other thing to do a little bit of deep cleaning. However, if we're taking care of the everyday things, some of these things, it really depends on the house as far as how dirty these spaces are getting, to the point that they need to be deep cleaned. So please keep that in mind. Moving on to office space. So I think before I just had this written as office. Let me see. Yeah, I just had it written as office, and I say before the end of the week. So now that's just in cursive up there. Before the end of the week, make sure that you've gotten these things done, or that you're checking on those things, so that nothing gets left undone and you aren't caught with a bill that you forgot to pay, or your desk is just overwhelmed with a mess. Yeah, it's great to clean up our desks as we go, or each time we're using it, but I understand life happens. We understand that. And so just making sure that we have time set aside to do that. And for me, it's just to make sure that it's done before the end of the week. Now here is just something a little fun. I named my laundry room a laundrette, partially because of what it looks like, but I just was really drawn to the term laundrette when we went on our cruise. I just thought that was the sweetest little name for a space to do laundry, to do all of the ironing, you know, all those things like that. So before I had utility, but the laundry room for each person isn't always their utility room. And so I just really wanted to concentrate on that specific area, which was the laundry room. So whether or not you call it that, that's not the big idea here. It's just a little something every day to make sure that we are doing. So refill products, counter, you know, there's just this whole list of things to do. And on some of those things, I just have a slash between different items to do because, of course, we're limited on space here. But these are just things to think on, things that could be done that, you know, might need to be done at different times. And so those are some things to consider. Then I have in here the morning room. So the morning room is just a place for you to prepare yourself for the day. Wherever it is that you spend your mornings, that is your morning room. It doesn't have to look like anything specific, but these are things that would be nice to do in the morning. Make sure you're letting in some sunshine. Focus on your daily devotions, whether that is, you know, saying a prayer, whether that is reading scriptures or having a certain kind of devotion that you focus on, and then taking some time to journal, dedicate the day. I did change this from, what did it say before? It said, plan out your day. I think that's what I had on here. I had plan the day. So now I said dedicate the day. I don't know, there's something that just makes me feel different to say what I'm dedicating my day to. And of course, it still comes into play when we're talking about planning. However, when you dedicate something, it just holds greater significance, in my opinion. So that's what I encourage you to do, is dedicate your day to whatever it is. Do you have somebody that you want to go and see? Do you have something specific that you really need to do that day? That's kind of what it means to dedicate the day, as well as those other things that you would like to work into your day. Make sure that you are setting that intention. Then handling any correspondence and phone calls. So maybe you have some emails to respond to, or if you have, I don't know, a letter that you want to handwrite somebody, that might be a good time to do that, just when it's quiet, when you're able to think things through. And then also planning out or taking care of any phone calls. Now, of course, that depends on what time you are getting up and around in the morning, but don't forget that, you know, we have a large portion of our morning. So, you know, those things can be handled at different times as well. It's not like it all has to take place at one given time. So then we go into the monthly spread and the month at a glance. It would look more like this, or, you know, like this. And on here we have now the months with the original font that I was using. Nothing else changed. Hopefully all the dates are the same. No, not hopefully all the dates are the same. Hopefully all the dates are right. If we can do nothing else, can we please get the dates right? Right? So yes, we have 2 monthly spreads per month. That is by design. That is to keep anything that you want to have separate. I encourage you to keep it separate. For myself, I like to have work and day-to-day life separate. The kind of goals or different things that I need to plan out for my work, I don't want to see on my monthly spread for appointments that I have for my family, or, you know, just birthdays coming up, things like that. I want to completely focus on work or plan things out for work without having to see the chaos of everything else on my calendar. So that's why I have it like that. Then we go into our daily pages. Now, mind you, these daily pages, there isn't one for every single day of the year. And that too is by design, because I have found that for myself, and I don't want to say that for everyone. Why is schedule up at the top here? Oh my. Uh-oh. Did I change that? Oh my goodness. What did I do? See, I find something every single time I go through this, and I must have started something to see if I liked it and then changed it. Is that what I did? Uh-oh. Oh my goodness. At the very end of the year, I changed that. Wow. I must have been trying to see if I liked that better. Well, you tell me. It's only like that, and this is for the new one, it's only like that on the very last page. Please tell me. I would love your feedback. Would you like the schedule at the top and the list at the bottom, or the list at the top and schedule at the bottom? I would love to know. And that is very weird, but good to know. And I'm glad that I printed this page, because now I know what it looked like. So, I guess that's just one page, but what they typically look like would be your menu, then your list, then your schedule. And so for every day of the daily pages, that's what it would have in them. And then it goes, like I said, that very last page, it's switched. So anyway, that's where you would just write out what your menu plan is for the day. Yes, you would have a schedule, and if you needed a list for anything, it can be any kind of list. Is it a shopping list? Is it a list of to-dos that you have for the day? Whatever that is. And then I have this very faint line here that I don't even know if it's picking up on camera, but that faint line, as you can see on this part, that is where you can write in the times that you actually need to do something, or you have somewhere to be, or that you just need to know about. And to me, that makes it so much easier than writing, or than having every single hour written out for you. I just find that to be very unnecessary, just like having a page for every single day of the year. I just don't find that necessary, especially because at the end of the year, I end up feeling so guilty. I end up feeling guilty at the beginning of the year if I didn't start out my year using the first page of what to do, and I usually don't even want to, you know, because I'm still kind of in that resting mode. So anyway, it's up to you on how you use it. And the other thing I wanted to say is, do you find this to be helpful like this, or would you prefer it to be like that? I have these blank pages pretty much scattered, not blank, but you know, just lined pages throughout the life book, especially at the end. And I don't have anything titled, like I don't have menu, for example. Would you prefer it to just be like that instead of, you know, write your schedule, write your list, write your menu? That's something else I would love your feedback on, because I have considered just leaving it like this, kind of like how I have my diaries, because who knows, maybe you would just prefer to write a little bit about your day instead of scheduling things, or instead of writing lists. And it could still be used for a schedule. It could still be used as a list, but it would just depend on what you would need that page for. So I feel like I'm convincing myself of what I would already do with it, but I would still like your feedback on how you use it and what you would prefer. But this is what it looks like. We have our blank page, or our lined page over here, and then the budget section. And I don't have every single month printed out here, but this is the idea. You have your January budget with all of the information to fill out there. And then turning the page, you would have your February budget and so on, all the way until December. And then we go into the debt tracker. So we have our debt tracker here. And this time I just have one single debt to focus on. I don't know, just something about that seemed better to me, especially for within a year. And you can definitely, use the same concept, even making something over here if you have more debts to tackle. But hopefully that's something that if you do have, you are really focusing on to knock out. And I actually have a wonderful newsletter, which is part of my Lady to Lady section. And I am sharing a story from one of my patrons who wrote me this beautiful letter, and it had to do with debt. And I think it is so inspiring. And I think that so many of you would benefit from it, so much so that I'm considering putting it in my volume 3 for the Lady of the House inspirations. And I just think that it's worthy of that. So anyway, if you are not a patron, maybe you might want to head over to Patreon, because that newsletter is really touching. And then we have a savings tracker. So this is very important as well. Just making sure that we have a goal when it comes to our savings. So I wanted to make sure to include this in here this time as well. And it just gives you something to, strive for. So that's a big reason why I put this in there as well. And then one more lined page in the back. So that is it when it comes to the Lady of the House Life Book for 2025. By the way, I did not have everything printed out. That way I could save some paper. But if this is something that you had questions about, I really hope that this answered some of them for you. If you have any more questions, please leave them in the comments below. So as you can see, the Lady of the House Life Book is much more than a planner. It's a tool to help you with the everyday.